The Midwest region. Directions. Read the following passage about the Midwest region. Then answer the questions. Remember to look back in the text for evidence to support your answers. Corn, wheat, cows, bison, wide prairies, Great Lakes, the mighty Mississippi, the heart of America, is perfect for farming and ranching, but watch out for tornadoes. Land and water. The land of the Midwest is very different from the land in the regions to its east. Almost all the Midwest is flat, gently rolling land with very few trees, called the Central Plains. Prairie grasses cover much of the land. The prairie grasses help make the soil extremely fertile. The Central Plains are low, but rise slowly west of the Mississippi River. The Great Plains lie to the west of the Central Plains. The soil isn't as fertile, and there is less rainfall. The land is higher, drier, and rockier. The Great Plains are mostly dry grassland with few trees. The Black Hills in South Dakota are the hilliest part of the Great Plains. The Black Hills have very high peaks made of granite. It says there are 12 states in the Midwest region. These 12. The Midwest lies in the middle of the United States. So when it says mid, short for middle. Minnesota is right here. We're in the Midwest. So this region is all about Minnesota and the states that are around Minnesota. There are areas of the Great Plains that are very dry. These areas are called the Badlands because the land is useful for farming and many other human purposes. In the Badlands, there are steep slopes made of clay and soft rock. When it rains, the clay and rock erode, creating canyons and many strange shapes in the soft rock. Water in the Midwest is very important. Most major cities in the Midwest form near these waterways. Before railroads, travel on waterways was faster and less expensive than traveling on land. The Mississippi River and the Missouri River combine to make an important waterway. The Mississippi River runs through 2,300 miles through the Central Plains all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. Many tributaries join the Mississippi River, including the Missouri River and the Arkansas River from the west, and by the Ohio River from the east. The Missouri River is the longest river in North America, flowing just a few hundred miles farther than the Mississippi. The rivers are a busy water highway for boats and barges. The river banks are lined with levees, raised areas that stop the river from overflowing. 4 of the 5 Great Lakes touch the Midwest region. These lakes are so large they hold 1/4 of all the fresh water in the world. Over 6 quadrillion gallons. That means we have a lot of easy access to fresh water living in the Midwest and in the United States if it holds 1/4 of all the fresh water in the world. Rivers and canals connect the Great Lakes to the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico. Climate. The Midwest can have severe weather. It has no ocean nearby to warm the land in winter and cool it in the summer, so the winters are very cold and the summers are very hot. The winters are long and harsh. In the winter, storms called blizzards bring heavy snow and freezing winds. In the winter months, the Soo Locks are closed because of ice on the Great Lakes. Spring brings hailstorms that drop hailstones or lumps of ice instead of rain. In the spring and summer, there are tornadoes with strong whirling winds. Part of the Midwest region is called Tornado Alley because it has a very high number of very destructive tornadoes. People who live in Tornado Alley are aware that tornadoes pose a potential danger for them. Buildings in this area have strong roofs and a foundation that are tethered to the structure. Many people have storm cellars, underground shelters that protect people from a tornado. Neighborhood tornado sirens warn people when tornadoes are about to happen. Plants and animals also adapt to the climate. Prairie grass has deep roots to find water. Some birds migrate to warmer places in the winter. Prairie dogs live underground. Bison have thick fur to help them survive the cold winters. Millions of bison once lived on the Great Plains. Hunters killed most of them for their skins. Then people started protecting bisons. Now there are about 150,000 bison in the United States. Products and natural resources. Soil is the most important resource in the Midwest region. The Central Plains are covered with some of the best soil on Earth. There are many farms in the Midwest region. Iowa has so much fertile soil that farms cover almost every inch of the state. The Midwest region has 3 main areas, or belts. These belts contain certain types of crops. The areas are the corn belt, the wheat belt, and the dairy belt. You will find the corn belt in the Central Plains. Once the corn is harvested, it is used for different products. Corn syrup is used in ice cream. Glue, soap, and paint also use corn. The most important use for corn is food. We eat corn that is frozen and in cans. Corn on the cob is a favorite summertime food. The wheat belt in the Great Plains produces most of the wheat in the U.S. Wheat is ground into flour. The flour is turned into products like pasta, cakes, cereal, and bread, giving the region the nickname America's breadbasket. Battle Creek, Michigan produces most of the breakfast cereal in the country. Grass grows quickly in the dairy belt. The northern grasslands in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Minnesota are ideal for raising dairy cows. The tall grass is cut and dried into hay. The hay is used to feed cattle. Dairy cows in the Midwest produce much of our milk, butter, and cheese. Wisconsin produces more cheese than anywhere in the U.S. Other farms in the Midwest raise livestock. Livestock are animals raised on farms such as cattle, hogs, and chicken. The livestock is raised for meat. Meat packing plants are an important industry in the Midwest. These plants prepare the meat so that it can be sold in supermarkets. The Midwest has large deposits of iron ore. Steel mills change the iron ore into steel. Much of the steel produced in the Midwest region is used to make cars and trucks. Detroit, Michigan is called the Motor City, or Motown for short, because it is a center for the automobile industry. Ford, Chrysler, and General Motors all made cars in Detroit. So now you'll answer the comprehension questions about the text. There are page numbers to help you look back at which page. Remember to look for specific text evidence and write your answers in complete sentences.